Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Lapstone Podcast. My name is Andrea.
And I'm MJ.
And we are coming back to you guys right after the Abu Dhabi race. So maybe there's some developing stories that we're missing, but we're on a tight timeline because I'm on vacation. And I'm still bringing an episode to you guys. Like, literally, you're welcome. Like, being
Very
a podcaster
dedicated.
is so hard. Being a podcaster is so hard. Also, these are my notes. So I'm not just on my phone while MJ is talking. But we have a good amount of stuff to cover from the F1 race. But we have a couple things from IndyCar and NASCAR that we can cover out front. And actually, the first one is something that's extremely near and dear to my heart. And then I discovered that MJ seems to feel the same as me, which is that Indy 500 trophy, the faces, gotta go. I don't like them. Not one bit. What is the name of the trophy, MJ?
The Borg-Warner Trophy.
Right. Okay, so they unveiled that they added Joseph Newgarden's face to it. And they were, like, kind of doing it as, like, isn't this so cool? And I was like, actually, this is the spookiest, scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. And
It's very
wish
scary.
to not see it. And you brought up a good point. Like, are they just going to keep adding faces forever? Like, there's only so many spots. What's the plan?
Are they going to have to, like, remove, like, the old faces of it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what their plan is. Also, the fact that there's two, like, Joseph Newgardens right next to each other, but they look, like, a little different freaks me out. I don't like that either.
Just, like, use the same mold or whatever you guys
just
do.
copy
Like, why
paste.
did we do
You
it?
already did it once.
Also, it's like they all kind of look the same in a way. Like, it's like not distinguishable enough to be like, oh, that's Joseph Newgarden's face. And it's like, if you put other people's faces on it, would I even be able to tell that it was them and not Joseph Newgarden? Probably not.
No,
Do you know what I'm saying?
definitely. Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. I think it's... But shout out to IndyCar for trying something new. How cool of you. But also, maybe we should try something new again.
Yeah, literally. Let's put our brains together and think of a better idea for a trophy.
Maybe
that one, hate it.
Perhaps the same trophy, sans faces. No
Thoughts?
creepy horror film faces, because it's like those scenes in like American Horror Story, if you've ever seen it, where like the face is pushing through the wall. That's exactly what I see when I look at that.
Yeah. It's so freaky. The best trophy is the NASCAR trophy, right? Is that what everybody agrees?
I mean, I don't know. That's a nice trophy, though. I like that trophy.
I'm pausing for the audience to answer. Answer, audience. Why aren't you guys speaking to us? Okay, so that's all I had on Indy 500 stuff. Well, actually, that's not true. That's literally a lie. Me when I lie. Because our NASCAR story is that Christopher Bell said that if Toyota wanted to return to IndyCar series and was looking for somebody to put in the Indy 500, he would be the first to raise his hand. And I was like, see, this is what I'm talking about. We need more crossover. I want to see Christopher Bell in the Indy 500 now. I would be cheering for him. I don't know. What are your thoughts, MJ?
I mean, I would cheer for him. It does kind of suck that the whole manufacturer thing is what keeps some of the drivers from, like the NASCAR drivers, from trying the Indy 500. And sure, maybe the fact that they've never like done like open wheel racing sometimes can stop them from wanting to do it. Sure, maybe like the experience or whatever. I think, but they kind of do, a lot of them do like sprint cars and like dirt racing, so they do have more of experience than if they just went like straight NASCAR, whatever. Would love to see it. I would root for him. I mean, why not? At this point, fuck it, why not?
Who else are we going to root for? Like, I want to see Christopher Bell do it. I have no other thoughts on it. I just thought it was like, now that he said it, now I want it to happen. And so Toyota, get on it.
I'd love to see his face on the Borg-Warner Trophy.
Wait, they would just be like, can we just use the Joseph Newgarden face mold again? And just say it's
like,
Christopher Bell?
Just, like, make
What's
it, like,
the difference?
softer.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Just, like, take 10 years off of Joseph Newgarden's face, and that's basically Christopher Bell's face, right?
I wonder if they ever do that. If they're ever like, well, they're similar enough. Like, all I have to do is, like, shape the jawline or whatever. Like, I wonder how many of the faces on the Borg-Warner Trophy they started by using somebody else's face.
Yeah.
Who do we talk to about this? Who can we...
We honestly, like, the only way I can come to, like, warm up to this trophy is if IndyCar allows us to meet the people that make the trophy.
Please.
And, like, maybe then I would have some more respect for it if I could see the process. But until then, me and MJ are out on the trophy, officially.
It
That's
scares
the Laps Down official statement coming out now. Don't like the Indy 500 trophy.
No. Makes us uneasy.
Unless Christopher Bell's face is on it, then I also would maybe change my tune a little bit.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, put Pato's face on it, and I'll be like, hell yeah. Borg-Warner Trophy, more faces. Less trophy, more faces.
Love that. Hey, let's start putting the podium on there. We can put second place on the trophy, right?
Hey, just do the whole starting grid at this point.
Hey, just put them all on that shit, and maybe I'd warm up to it. Okay, so I think we're fully on F1. I mean, that is how drastically dry it is out here for IndyCar and NASCAR news, guys. Like, there is, like, lawsuit stuff with the 2311 lawsuit. If you're looking for somebody to know about that, you're at the wrong podcast, because I need, like, literally a law degree in order to decipher what the fuck we're talking about anymore. It's, like, rescinding and then, like, refiling, all this law stuff, whatever. Don't care. I don't know how to explain it to you guys. So that's it for the news, essentially, for those two series. So let's go to F1. Last race of the season. Feels like this season has been 100 years. Roughly 100 years.
They were talking about, like, what happened at, like, Baku and what happened in Australia, and I was like, you mean last year? But it was fully this year.
Yeah, I was like, I literally, they were talking about Carlos winning in Australia, and I literally was like, when? I don't remember that. Like, that was a million years ago. It was kind of like weirdly a boring race, yet things were happening. It's just like nothing was happening that I felt was like that consequential. It was just like a lot of other things going on that weren't the lead. So who cares? Kind of, you know?
Yeah, I think after, like, the first lap and after Max made contact with Oscar, like, that was really big for a minute. I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. And then Charles was like, why don't I just get this over with, and I'm just gonna scooch on by ya. He pulled a Midwestern. I'm just gonna scooch on by ya. 11 positions. And then the rest of the race was just kind of like, sure.
That's all. That's all, folks. But we could start with the beginning of the weekend. I do think that qualifying was pretty interesting. Well, okay, the true beginning, we had the only real story from free practice was Charles and his brother getting to do FP1 together. I thought that was really sweet. I'm not gonna lie. I teared up like a little bit, like when they like waved to each other. I don't know, and I'm not even like a Charles girl like that. I just was like, like they're brothers. Like, I'm an only child, so I have like a weird thing about sibling relationships. I think that they're more sentimental than maybe they are. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like I thought it was cute. If my brothers and I were on a track together, we wouldn't be as cute. I think they would take me out. Truthfully.
They'd be like, that'd be so funny if, like, I crashed with her right now. And
they'd
then,
be like,
the
wouldn't it be
impulsive
cool?
thought would win.
That's exactly what happened. I did see a lot of people on Twitter kind of losing their mind. Actually, Motorsport Marley, she made a video about how everyone was like, this is nepotism, the fact that Arthur's there. And I was like, does Arthur have a seat? Does Arthur have a job we don't know about? If anything, Charles isn't doing enough nepotism. If anything, the fact that Lewis is going to that second seat shows that nepotism sometimes doesn't work. Second seat, maybe first seat. I take it back.
Yeah.
Going to that Ferrari seat.
He should have been like, you know who's kind of just like Ollie Behrman? My brother. You guys should hire him to the Ferrari development and then put him in the Haas and then, like, do that whole thing.
Exactly.
Like, you should just replace... he looks just like Ollie if you like squint a little bit. You know what I mean? So like it's the same thing. You guys should just go with him probably. It was also interesting to see like they showed like a bunch of graphs like how close they were in like free practice times, like as if that means anything, and they were like kind of insinuating like, yeah, Arthur's basically just as good as Charles. Like it was so weird. I was
so
like,
here
right.
for it.
I was like, well, Charles just got out of the garage with a battery issue, and it's the end of FP1. Like, I don't know if he's, like, pushing like that, guys. You know what I mean? But they were, like, just a couple tenths of a second off between them, really. You could replace Charles with Arthur. He's a phenomenon. Yeah, he's, like, literally the same.
I'm obsessed with that.
They sound the same on the radio, and I've seen like clips of them like playing video games and stuff, and like they literally have the same voice. It is kind of freaky deaky. Is that how siblings normally work? I don't know, but like, why do they sound exactly like the same person? It's really freaky.
That is a siblings thing. Me and my brothers, exact same. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
You can't even tell the difference when they're on the phone.
You don't even know if it's me on the pod. For the audio listeners, this could fully be my older brother. You wouldn't know.
You never know. Okay, and then we had qualifying. My favorite story from qualifying was K-Mag. Like, he hit like one of those, they call them like bollards or whatever. Can we just call it a cone? It's a cone, essentially. Bollards. I'm not saying a bollard because I have self-respect. So he hits like one of those cone things and like flings it out on track, and it goes under Lewis Hamilton's car. And it was really funny because James Hinchcliffe was convinced that this was before Hamilton even started his like true qualifying lap, and he was like, you know, he went pretty fast considering he had a cone under his car. Like, he's actually like doing great considering like every air intake part under his car is completely fucked. And then they're like, yeah, James, that's because it wasn't his lap. Like it was like a out lap. And he was like, oh, okay, less impressive. And he like kind of took all his compliments. I mean, he was like raving about Lewis. He was like, you can't get a driver better than this. Like, how did he put in that time with a cone under his car? But I was just convinced that was K-Mag looking out for Hulkenberg. What do you think?
Obviously. That's his goal in life, is to look out for Hulkenberg.
Yeah.
And I think did it not work?
No, it did work. It worked really good.
Hell yeah.
So he was trying to get off the racing line, and he decided to do that by off-roading and hitting a cone. And I'm just like not convinced that was the only way he could have done that, but I think he saw an opportunity there and he was like, fuck it, I'm gonna take it. And then so that means Hamilton was out in Q1, and the dramatics were already starting. People were like, I can't believe in his last race with Mercedes, he is going to be finishing out of the points, obviously, because of how poorly he qualified. And I was like, wow, guys, you have literally no faith in Hamilton whatsoever. It's literally crazy.
Every single weekend. That story has been the story every single weekend, where it's like, it's so sad that this is going to be one of his last few rides with Mercedes and he's starting P15. Yeah. And then the motherfucker is fine. Every single weekend, he is fine.
Yeah.
He's the same man in the car. He is absolutely fine. You guys need to start taking notes or something so you can remember it. I don't know.
Also, it's like, the car is, like, fast race pace. You really think he's just gonna, like, fuck around behind a stake the whole time? No. Like, the car is fast. It's really not that deep. I do feel like he isn't... This is not a representative thing of that because of the cone issue, but I am kind of curious to see whether his qualifying will be better next year. Maybe he's just struggling to qualify specifically with this car, but like a lot of people are insinuating like he is just not good at qualifying anymore, period. And they're like, this is part of getting old. You suck at qualifying, but like you figure it out in the race.
We all go through it.
Yeah, they're literally like, look at Fernando, he can't qualify for shit either, and then like he does fine. And I was like, wow, you guys are fully banking on him just being like some grumpy old man at Ferrari every Saturday.
I don't know, good. I love the internet.
Yeah, people are just like fucking old people, am I right? Then we had Charles out in Q2, and then he also had a 10-place grid penalty before we even started qualifying. So it was suggested, like, oh, this is actually not that bad for them because he could then make changes to the car, get it all set up in the perfect way to, like, just do an overtaking masterclass. They even suggested, like, he might want to start from the pits to avoid, like, first lap issues, but it actually ended up, like, they decided first lap issues would be fine if he could avoid them, and boy did he. And we'll talk about that later. But yeah, I kind of felt bad for Charles, but, like, he had a 10-place grid penalty, so being out in Q2, it's like, what are you gonna do, I guess? Like, you can't be that mad about it. You're already fucked before you even started. So, and then last thing about qualifying was track limits. I'm gonna be real, I don't understand what the fuck the track limits thing is, because the things that they were choosing to declare as out of bounds and then, like, reinstate, I was just like, no, it looks like they're 4 wheels out beyond the white line. And then people were like, oh, but you can see, like, some blue on the other side of the white line. And then, like, Checo, for example, they were like, you can't see the blue, which means he might have, like, a fucking fraction of a tire on the white line. So we're going to reinstate his lap. I was just like, I don't know. I mean, to me, it looks like he has 4 wheels off. I don't know. But then it benefited Oscar Piastri, so I just was like, okay, whatever, I don't care anymore.
It's fully just vibes. Did I ever tell you? I was watching a supercars race, and if I misspeak on this, sometimes I'd be doing that. I
won't know.
That's true. Anyone in the audience who knows, keep your mouth shut. But in supercars, they, like, write out, like, everything that they would allow for track limits before the race starts. Like, they go through all these different scenarios and stuff, so they, like, don't have this issue. And I just think it's funny that the pinnacle of motorsport just seems to continue to have this issue, the track limits vibes issue. But, I mean, shout out to Oscar if it worked out for him. I don't know.
Yeah, so, like, him and Checo both had it where they took their lap time away, and then they both, like, reinstated them. And the first one was Checo, and they were like, oh, that lap time got deleted for track limits. And he gets on the radio, and he was like, I don't think I was out of track limits. So, like, go argue with them. And then they come back, and they go, like, okay, we argued with them, and you're good. They're like, lap time is back. And instead of just being, like, grateful for it and being like, oh, okay, thanks, team, Checo gets on, he's like, I fucking told you guys, I would never be outside track limits. And I was like, no.
He's so real for that.
It looked like you were out of track limits. Like, I think you should just be super grateful that they're, like, letting it slide or whatever. I'm sure people are going to be in my comments being like, he actually, like, had, like, a fucking fraction of a atom on the white line. But I'm like, does that not count as still out of bounds? Like, if you have 4 wheels on the other side of the white line, what the fuck do I know, I guess? But, yeah, I don't know, the track limits thing, it's really weird to see, like, the certain tracks that we have these consistent track limits on, they, like, the next year do something to, like they put, like, a gravel pit or something there, and I'm curious if, like, they're gonna, like, take turn 1 in Abu Dhabi and, like, put some shit there to, like, prevent the track limits issue. Even though the gravel pits, we still have track limits.
They still give penalties. Like, Oscar, what was it, a couple weekends ago, he did track limits into the gravel pit, and they were still, like, on top of the gravel pit. And you know what? I love that he colors outside the lines. That's beautiful. Right. That's magical. That's artistic, frankly.
Yeah.
But, like, we can't do these gravel pits or gravel traps, gravel pits. It's just like you fall into, like, it's an Indiana Jones trap.
It's actually quicksand.
You get stuck in the sand, and it's just, like, the car, like, straight up, like, sinking down slowly. FIA, hit us up for more ideas. But, I don't know, it just feels silly that we have the gravel traps, and then they're still getting penalties, and then we go back and forth. Like, had Checo not argued, would they not have reinstated it? Are they just, like...
I don't think they would have.
Stamp on it, done? I don't know. It just feels... We are so messy as a society. And I just think that F1 needs to not be a part of that.
Yeah, they need to get it together. I think that you're right. They wouldn't have done anything with Checo's lap had they not argued it. And then I think with Oscar, they were like, well, they're going to argue it because Checo just argued it and got his reinstated. So let's just go ahead and just, like, get ahead of the issue and, like, reinvestigate, whatever the fuck that means. It's like you looked at it the first time, you said it was out of bounds, and then you just looked at it again and you were like, never mind. I don't fucking understand. But what do I know? What do I know? Also, as an Oscar Piastri fan, you start to notice, I don't know how many other people have noticed, this boy do be doing track limits. Like, a lot. Like, I love Oscar Piastri. He, all the fucking time during qualifying, is outside track limits. Like, doesn't matter the track, he finds a limit and he goes outside of it.
Yeah, he's surveying the field. He's just trying to he's getting his bearings, okay?
Yeah, he's testing the limits. The other, like, penalty drama that we had from Q1, or not Q1, just qualifying. Sorry, I don't know why I specified that. It was not Q1, I don't think. You basically had Liam going on, like, his actual, like, push lap, and then you had both Mercedes kind of, like, weirdly trying to stay off the racing line, and in the process, they kind of, like, took, like, both sides of the track, and they, like, forced Liam to go through the middle of them, and so they did an investigation on George, like, impeding him in his, like, lap, and I thought this is a slam dunk. Like, he clearly did impede him on his push lap, and, like, especially after all the hubbub about, like, impeding somebody not even on their push lap from George, you would think it would be like a slam dunk of, like, that's what it looks like when you're actually fucking with somebody's lap. And then they just, like, put, like, no further investigation. And I haven't seen anybody talk about it, and I'm just, like, confused because I'm like, is that not an issue that anybody gives a shit about? Like, to me, that looks hella, like, impeding. Maybe it's just because nobody cares about Liam. I don't know, but, yeah, they were like, yeah, no, he's good. And I was like, he's actually the opposite of good. He totally fucked Liam's lap, but what the fuck do I know? So that was it for qualifying. Any thoughts, any questions, any concerns, MJ?
I think it's really fucked up what the FIA did to Nico. He got a 3-place grid penalty for, was it overtaking in the pits?
The pit?
Something like that. And I just want to say, is that not the purpose of racing? Do we not put these grown-ass adults in these silly little cars every weekend so that they do, in fact, overtake everyone else on the grid? Is that not the purpose, FIA? And so I think we should actually have a redo of the Abu Dhabi weekend. On that, let him go again. He was P4. We could have won a Haas podium.
I know.
And, they said that's actually too good for America for us. And our nation wept.
I hope that, like, when Audi comes into F1, they make a car faster than any car previously was even thought to have been able to go. Like, I hope he's, like, breaking the fucking sound barrier with this car. And I hope we get, like a Red Bull 2023 dominance, but with, like, Nico and an Audi. Dude. That's what I'm hoping for. Like, he never has had a podium, and then he just, like, in 2026 comes out and, like, gets all of the podiums. He takes first, second, and third. Like, nobody can, like, fucking touch him.
Good.
I think that would be such a fucking... And then he retires immediately after. Like, he gets his first world championship and then just retires. Like, that would be the chef's kiss on Nico Hulkenberg's career. Like, you couldn't write it better than that, in my opinion.
That's beautiful. I need that to happen.
Thank you.
Although he won't be our American legend anymore because he's
he can be American.
Okay.
Right?
It's that easy, folks. We need somebody.
That's it. Maybe they could, like, put Chloe Chambers in the second seat, and we could have, like, a Haas reunion at Sauber or at Audi, and then, like, she can get, like, second to Nico, and then we'd still, but, like, she'll win sometimes, so we'll get the American anthem. Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be
I
a
think that's
close
fine.
competition that season between them.
Yeah.
Ultimately, Nico, because of his
Nico will
skill,
win.
because of maybe team orders or something out of Chloe's control, he will end up winning. But we're all
team
gonna.
orders.
I think team orders is gonna come into play
Yeah.
because he's like, he's up there, and they're like, Chloe's got so many more years.
Yeah.
Did we just write
They will,
fanfiction?
Yeah, they'll be like, Chloe has like a whole career ahead of her, but like this is Nico's like last go because as we've already established, he's old and old people can't qualify anymore.
Right.
So like we gotta do team orders so he can win this championship, but then the next year, 2027, will be Chloe Chambers, obviously.
Of course. Wow. I can't wait. All of a sudden I'm excited again.
I can't wait either. F1's gonna be so fun in 2026 or 2027. I'll see you guys there. I'm so excited. Unfortunately, though, I think we're going to have to do a 2025 where we have to pretend to do a McLaren title fight again. I fear that that's what we're going into. Because, yeah, the weekend, the race started, Lando was on pole, and boy, did he keep it for once. And he just did it the whole time.
Shout out to Max. Well, I guess not really, but kind of.
Yeah, kind of. But I think that we saw Lando put in probably like the best performance I've seen from him in the way of like he had the lead, he kept the lead, he didn't do what he did in Singapore where he just started making like stupid driver errors. He had some issues with like his tire strategy, but he managed to like maintain his tires and like communicate with the team like strategy, what the plan was, even when his tires started falling off pretty severely and he was like getting a little stressed in the car. And he kept a good handle on the situation because it was basically the only thing keeping them from falling into the jaws of Ferrari. And I think that he definitely has something to be proud of. I think he definitely led the team to the Constructors' Championship, even though it was like rocky. And now he finished the race by going on the radio and saying, next year, I want the Drivers' Trophy. And so I think that that's what we have to look forward to.
Regardless of whether or not that does happen, like, he could win it next year. That's just an insane thing to say for anyone. I don't think anyone should have said that. I don't think Max should say it last year, even though he did win this year. I don't think you should ever put that on you because
you gave somebody like an audio clip to make fun of you with.
Exactly.
For when you don't win.
It's like,
sorry, one second. What's up? Somebody already came and picked up the tray. Thank you. Right. So that was housekeeping.
We love.
But anyways, I think you gave somebody an audio clip to bully you with when you don't win next year. You know what I'm saying?
Not that it's not possible, because like obviously we've seen growth from Lando, but like McLaren would have to super duper get their shit together and make sure Oscar would be willing to like play along. I don't know. I could definitely see them fighting again next year. I do think Oscar might be the one to watch. That's what Will Buxton said, and I've always said if Will Buxton says it, I double it, retweet it, send it to the next guy.
It's official at that point.
He's so real for that. But I agree. I'm glad that he said the quiet part out loud, where we were all like, "No, Oscar's gonna be the one to beat next year."
I think that next year I'm going to be paying a lot more attention to the first like 5 to 6 races, because even if McLaren is not winning those races, it will be deciding the order of the drivers, I think. And I think that's what happened this year. Even though McLaren maybe weren't starting as strong as some of the other teams, it was deciding who was going to be the number 1 driver and who was going to be the number 2 driver that year, so that once McLaren did start to get their shit together, it was like Oscar was already out of the count, basically. So I do agree. Oscar is the one to watch out for, and I think he is going to be focused a lot more on those first 5 to 6 races. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see some like crazy wheel-to-wheel action between the two of them, even if they're not out in front, because they know that they're going to be deciding who gets the go at the Drivers' Championship if McLaren has the car to do so. Which, I don't know. I mean, like, I guess I don't really know because everybody's starting to come so close together. Is like, can we guarantee that McLaren is going to be the best car next year? I don't think so. Like, I think that there is a chance that Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes, fuck it, Aston Martin, who knows? Like, Alpine is really starting to pick up the pace.
Haas. Okay, so basically everybody...
Haas was literally, like, doing consistently well through all the practices and qualifying. Like, all the announcers were like, Haas cannot keep pretending like we shouldn't be counting them in for this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Basically, everyone has a chance next year besides, like, Stake and Williams.
Period. I mean, that's basically, like, anybody could be champion next year except for those two.
Not you two. Sit down.
You guys
wait till 2026.
Sit down. Yeah, you guys, those two teams are actually, like, I am curious because there is something to be said about, like, putting all your focus into 2026. If everybody else is putting money and energy into upgrades for 2025 because they feel like they actually have a chance for the championship, there is something that could be said of, like, Audi and Williams just saying fuck 2025 and going all in on 2026. A full year of Carlos and Albon, like, figuring out that car together and offering, like, really productive feedback. Potentially Nico, like, really guiding the Audi team. I could see 2026, maybe one of them just, like, creates, like, a fucking out the gate new regulation psycho crazy car.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We can add that to the fan fiction for sure.
Yeah. I need something to hold on to, and Carlos magically fixing Williams is basically all I've got at this point. So yeah, McLaren wins the Constructors' Championship. You put in the notes McLaren's little factory cam. You wanted to speak on it? Go for it.
Oh, like the way that they were set up, I just thought it looked like, have you ever been to Disney in Florida?
Yes.
You know, like the little Monsters Inc., like the laugh floor, and the way that it shows the audience, and like it's like really funny lit, and they like zoom in on people's face. I was like, oh my god. I just thought it was cringe. Like, I just thought it was funny.
I thought it was, like, funny. Like, I didn't really know that we were doing that. And then they showed, like, the crash between Max and Oscar. And then they just cut to this, like, factory floor. And I was like, wait, what is this?
It wasn't a Ferrari one, though. It was just a McLaren one.
Yeah, Ferrari was like, so we don't think that's
we don't want to do that.
Yeah, that's going to be depressing and sad. But, yeah, they, like, showed the McLaren people. And they were all like, oh my god, and, like, literally, like, paid actors, like, they were overreacting so much. I was like, who are these people?
A live studio audience.
And then, like, you had, like, confetti at the end for them, and I was like,
oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, at the end they had, like, confetti in the like, factory little room, and they were like, and they were, like, jumping on chairs, and they were so hyped.
Hell yeah.
But then they said that, like, there was a bunch of, the commentators were saying that McLaren, like, had a bunch of people come out to Abu Dhabi for the race. And so I was like, wait, so these are, like, the B-list people. Like, they didn't even get the go to Abu Dhabi. It sounds like they were sending fucking everybody to Abu Dhabi, and then these are just, like, the randos. I was like, that is so mean. I would be so pissed if I was in that factory little room. I'd be like, why the fuck am I here? Half of you guys got to go to Abu Dhabi, and I'm here in Woking, England. So I'm surprised they were so happy. I'd have been pissed. Yeah, I would have been in the front row like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Looks pretty warm there. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like a great fucking vacation for you losers. So speaking of the crash, we had a 10-second penalty for Max right off the go because him and Oscar, they made a little contact on the first lap. I do think that it was kind of like a racing incident sort of thing in a way. I don't know. I mean, like, Max was, like, definitely in the way of Oscar, but that's just kind of how it is sometimes on the first lap. So I was kind of surprised that it ended up so catastrophically for the both of them. Like, I thought it would be like a little touch, and then it was like, nope, they're both spinning. It was funny, Oscar's little comment on the radio. He was like, that's a World Drivers' Champion move, or something like that. And I was like, bruh, you gotta chill. You gotta chill on Max a little bit. But what are your thoughts on that crash?
I think they should lean into it. I kind of had the same. I kind of had the same where I was like, it looked like it could have been a racing incident, but it did probably lean more towards Max's issue because he had space. Didn't have a whole lot of space, but he is, a 4-time world champion, so I feel like he should be able to make do with that amount of space. I was really sad to see Oscar out, though, that quick.
It was weird because they showed Oscar's onboard, and, like, part of me was like, maybe Oscar just completely didn't see him. I'm going to be honest, because it was like, the onboard, he was, like, just driving, and then all of a sudden he was spinning. I was like, I wonder if he didn't think that Max would be there, and then he just kind of turned in a little too much, and then, like, Max is there, and now we're both spinning.
I don't know. Well, but he left him, like, a sizable amount of room, so I feel like he had to know he was there. He wasn't just, like, leaving room for anyone. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
But they both, they both ruined their races, essentially, on the first lap. I think Oscar did end up getting in points, and then Max recovered better than Oscar. He kind of was, like, running in, like, 7th, 8th, 9th sort of vibe for most of the race, and wasn't as much impacted. But, they both basically took themselves out in the first lap. Also in the first lap, we had Charles go up 11 positions after the first couple laps. He definitely benefited from some crashes in the back. And this man was, like, literally playing like Frogger. He essentially was just, like, weaving through people, like, having catastrophic issues all around him. I think, like, Yuki kind of stalled a little bit in front of him at the start.
The start. And then there was just one instance where, it might have been the first corner, where everyone was just on the inside. And when you're looking at his onboard, I was like, that was the most beautiful disaster for all of them. He just scooted right up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who were those people? Who were those people that crashed? Who crashed in the first lap other than Oscar and Max? Wasn't there another one?
Checo did something with somebody.
Sounds like Checo. But yeah, Charles basically, like, he started in P19. Everybody was like, oh, it's all over for him and Hamilton. They both suck. And then they... Like, he was fine. He got third. He got a podium. Like, I wasn't really worried about Charles. Like, everybody was like, it's all over for him. I do think it was, like, a tough call on whether, like, Ferrari was going to be able to get the 1-2 that they needed to win the championship. But I was pretty confident he'd be able to get on a podium. So, you guys just have to have a little more faith. I don't know. That's what I'm taking away from this. Yeah, we can talk about Checo. What the fuck was he up to? Literally, like, they're like, and he's spinning, and he's done. And I was like, right. That's that, I suppose. I don't know. It wasn't really his fault, but, like, it still doesn't look great for him. Will Buxton was talking afterwards, and he basically was like, that was Sergio's last race. He seems pretty confident that it's going to be Liam and Max at Red Bull, and Isaac Hadjar and Yuki at RB, because Red Bull is the dumbest franchise ever. They literally have 2 teams and 4 drivers, and they still cannot just do the smart thing with their talent. Like, it's so fucking stupid. Like, dumb. I don't care about Leon. Like, he's fine. I think he's pretty good. Whatever. He is not better than Yuki in performance at the moment. And, like, Yuki, oh my god, that poor man. Like, if I was him, I would literally be, like, burning down the garage. Like, I would, like, be losing my fucking mind. He has another fucking rookie coming in as his teammate. Have we not established he's beaten all the rookies? He's beaten the old people, too. He's beat Daniel. He's beat Liam. He's beat... Like, the only person that he didn't beat, essentially, was, like, Pierre Gasly, which, like, Pierre Gasly's long gone from Red Bull. So, like, at this point, like, it's like, Yuki's the best you guys got. Like, please, grow up and just put him on the Red Bull team. You fucking losers. Oh, they're so angry. I
can't stand Red Bull. I do think they are shooting themselves in the foot with this, though, which is kind of fun. I do think that's kind of exciting for me. Especially if we are going to have these actual like, if we are deciding now as a society that we're going to actually have, like, multiple contenders for these championships, I think it's fun to watch Red Bull just slowly miscalculate every single thing they do.
Yeah. Just go ahead and ensure that they'll never win a Constructors' Championship.
Yeah.
In the next couple years, because they have no ability to put a team of 2 drivers together.
Sure.
They're also continuously probably angering Max with like all these like fucking rotating door of people that is going to be his teammates, because I would be so fucking surprised if Liam lasted a whole season in that Red Bull seat after so many other people not. And then, Max will probably be like, you know what? I think I'll leave. And probably just leave. And then the program will officially be dirt, down in the dust, without the talent, because they chased everybody off and fired everybody else.
Whoa. Not the whole program, though, because Chloe Chambers is going to Red Bull next year.
Oh, yeah. I forgot she was driving. Okay, so Chloe Chambers can save Audi and Red Bull, potentially. Maybe she'll get her start in the second Red Bull seat and then go to Audi with Nico.
Wait a minute. That's what we're not seeing. We're not seeing the full picture. Okay, so Liam goes up to the second Red Bull seat. Mm-hmm. And as we've kind of established, probably not going to last the whole season. You know how quick they are.
And then Isaac's going to go up, also get fired.
Sure.
Duh.
And then Chloe Chambers comes in. Boom.
And then she does, like, really well, but she, like, doesn't like the toxic environment at Red Bull. So she chooses to leave and go to a new project with Audi, with Nico.
Yes.
And she just is like, it seems like a better environment for me. And then she gets second place in the World Drivers' Championship the first year, but then obviously wins the next year.
This is, wow. I'm like kind of tearing up. This is beautiful.
Chloe Chambers, you're always welcome on the pod. If you want to come, I mean, like,
Chloe, please.
We're banking on you winning the World Drivers' Championship before anybody else. So everybody else is now a bandwagoner.
And she wins the Indy 500 in 2026. So she gets her face on the Borg-Warner. They have to figure out how to do long hair for the Borg-Warner.
Yeah, they're gonna we discussed it'd be like floating metal, probably. Yeah, like just a little weird, like little.
They can't just like cut it off. That would be disrespectful.
Right. So, bon voyage to Checo Perez, I'm assuming. Because Will Buxton, I feel like we said, anything that he said is probably true, based on nothing. But I just feel like it'd be really weird for him to get on F1 TV and be like, what I've heard is this, if it's like not at all substantive rumors. I mean, he said the same thing about Ocon leaving. He also said the same thing about Logan Sargent leaving. Like he's got a good record of like these rumors that he hears in the paddock. So I'm gonna trust that he knows something.
I wonder if that's kind of how teams like soft launch, like they give him the news to soft launch, because they're like, we're not gonna be like an actual professional team and like make an announcement and be like, this is their last race. You know what we're gonna do?
We're gonna do this good.
No, we're gonna have someone in a cloak and like a dark cloak with like black gloves hand like a shimmery envelope to Will Buxton, and when he opens it, it's just gonna say, we're firing our fucking driver. Can you start spreading the news?
I think that there's a chance it's that. There's also just a chance that Will Buxton's a nosy bitch.
That's also so true. Yeah.
I think that man...
And he's so good at it.
Yeah, he's got like his ear up against doors just being like... So, bon voyage to Checo Perez. My favorite radio of the race was them telling Charles towards the end of the race, you might want to like get back in the rhythm. And he responded with, this is the rhythm. Like, I don't know what you mean by that. This is the fastest I could go. I do feel kind of bad for Charles. Like we said, he had such a great drive up onto the podium. After the race, he looked so tired. He looked hella defeated. He was like very clearly pissed off. And I just wonder like what it's like for him to... I think he maybe believed more in Ferrari's ability to pull off a miracle today than anybody else. I think that he had to believe in that, because I can't imagine what it's like seeing somebody like Lando, who I think he considers like his peer on age and kind of like experience and stuff, have such a journey with a team like McLaren that was so shit to like winning the World Constructors Championship in the matter of a couple years. And in those couple years, Charles has consistently always been almost there with Ferrari. Mm-hmm. Like, Ferrari has never had a full fall off like McLaren has while Charles has been there. But they've, like, definitely always kind of been, like, third, fourth, second. And so, like, you would think if any team was able to make the push into first, it would have been Ferrari before McLaren. And I can't imagine how frustrating it is to see another year with this team that I think he's increasingly becoming a hater of. Yeah. And, like, just another championship they didn't win.
He's suffering through always the bridesmaid, never the bride syndrome. We've all been there.
So true.
But I don't think he'll ever... I have big hopes for Charles next year. I'm deciding right now. He's got this.
For the championship, like... Yeah.
He's going to win it all. He's going to win the championship, the Indy 500, Le Mans, the Coca-Cola 600.
On the same day, he's doing the triple. He's doing the triple. He's going to win Monaco. Obviously, it's his home race. We would love to see it. And then he's going to go and win the Indy 500. They're going to put his name and face on the trophy. Yep. And then he's going to actually take the same helicopter as Kyle Larson. They are buddies now. And they're going to go to the Coke 600.
This is beautiful.
I think we fucking lost it today, MJ. We are, like, literally just writing fanfic. But I don't know. I could see Charles doing really well next year. I definitely think it's, like, dependent on Lewis. If the car is good, then the issue is Lewis. If the car is not good, then the issue is surviving another year at Ferrari.
I agree.
Good luck, Charles, from MJ and Andrea. And if you ever want to do the Coke 600, we would love to see you there.
Let us know.
Then we had Colapinto. He was out. James had to go on the radio and say, sorry, our car sucks, basically. Like, they made James do the final radio of, like, this isn't how I wanted your last race to go. He sounded like he was about to cry. But, like, we have, like, a power unit issue. And I'm like, right. Is it the same power unit issue you guys had last week with Albon? Or is it a different one? Do you think we can figure out how to fix the power units, potentially?
We will in 2026. You just hold your freaking horses. I can't stand that man. And the fact that this is how Franco went out, I was like, yeah, what else did we expect? He had, like, a couple good races where the car was decent. The car sucked the whole year. Franco went out on a shitty note. James Vowles is still here. Carlos is coming next year, but we don't care about the car. And we have to wait till 2026. But we're going to be so focused on Chloe Chambers that I'm not even sure I'm going to care about Williams anymore.
Right. I hate Williams. I literally hate this team. I'm just kidding. Like, I'm trying to love it. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I'm not kidding. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it, but I love it. I hate it. I'm trying to love it. It's just, like, the worst team, and it's so annoying, and everything is sad and depressing. But, like, I'm trying to look on the bright side, and, like, I just, like, really have been struggling with my journey as a Williams fan, and I fucking hate this team. I literally hate it so much.
I'm so excited that we're both going to be Williams fans next year. This podcast is going to get so sad. This is going to be such a sad podcast. Should we change?
I literally hate it here. Just like, why? This isn't how I wanted your last race to go. Then make the power unit work. Fucking learn from your mistake last week. Okay, so anyways, bon voyage to Franco. I love you. I hope a seat opens up for you soon.
Maybe a Red Bull.
Hey.
He's
but not
right
before
in line
Chloe
after Chloe, obviously.
Yeah, when she leaves to go to Audi, obviously they were gonna need a driver, so they'll probably take Franco. Unless he goes to Cadillac and he just wins it all there. Anyways, another Red Bull news: Lawson was out on the last lap. Nobody cares because it was the last lap, and McLaren was winning the race.
Oh
so
wait,
nobody gives a shit.
I want to say something about that. That car was moving when he was getting out of it.
Right?
Do we have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, he was climbing out of a moving car, but I also think the car was smoking a little bit, so they were like,
fuck it. Send that torpedo wherever you want. Give it a push when you get out.
Yeah, they were like, safety, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I think it was just funny, like, they cut to the car smoking and him getting out of it, and they're like, but we don't have time for that. Right along.
They didn't say anything about the fact that the car was smoking, the fact that it was still moving. They were like, we have to get back to the action for the first time in forever, as if we've ever watched the action live.
And then on the last lap, we also had Hamilton passing George. That was actually kind of fun. Like, what a way for him to go out, honestly. Like, that was kind of fun. It was like one last, like, fuck you to George, because George is always like on about how he beat Lewis Hamilton, and like I don't care, I think it's fun when George talks smack, but like it was kind of funny to see Lewis being like, fuck you one last time, you thought you beat your teammate, wrong. But then the commentators were kind of killing the moment, because they were like, do you think that George let him by on purpose, just as like a one last thank you as his teammate? And I'm like, why the fuck would he do that? Like, why would he do that like that? That's probably not at all what happened. I think Hamilton just passed him. I don't know.
I think George probably let him by.
No! That's not fun. That's not fun.
Well, we don't have to think about it, but if I had to guess, I think George knows his place as much as he is like a sassy king. I think he knows his place, and he's like, yeah, fuck it. I'm sure Hamilton put up a little bit of a fight. I'm sure he didn't. Yeah. Like, I'm sure George didn't go down that easy. Does this help? Is this making it better?
Yeah. You're just killing the fun a little bit.
Maybe it was in the write-up before the pre-planned donuts.
Hold on. Before we get to the pre-planned donuts, my favorite fucking thing all weekend was an FP, like 1 or 2 or something. Lewis, he goes like, we gotta get this sticker out of here, and the commentators are like, what is the sticker? And then they cut to the onboard, and the sticker is like, every dream needs a team, and they're like, surely he can't mean that sticker, right? And then like they cut to his onboard again, and the sticker's gone. And they're like, all right, that was the sticker. He did mean that sticker. But they were like trying to be like, maybe it was like in his eye line somehow. I was like, no, I think he just said, fuck that sticker. This sticker's stupid as hell. Oh my god. I was like, I love Lewis so much. She's like, I'm trying to be sentimental about leaving this team, guys, but you're really making it hard with these stupid-ass fucking stickers.
He was right for that, though. Like, that sticker was crazy, especially because they put it on his car, I think, without him noticing. Like, or not without him noticing, but, like, without his permission, like, as, like, a gift. But I'm like, aren't you just kind of saying, like, we made you, bro?
Like, yeah. So I was, like, listening.
This is for us.
I was listening. For the first time in my life, I was having to listen to the Sky Sports one because I was on the plane and that's all they had. And I was listening to Nico, and Nico being like, "You're making it sound like you guys made him. It should be the other way around." Like Nico was like, "You should be like every team needs a hero."
Get him, Nico. Get him, Nico. Don't let him talk about your man like that.
I thought it was so funny. Like Nico was like, I've never heard him as a commentator. He is hella unhinged. And he was like, why would he want that sticker there? The sticker's shitty. Like, I would want the sticker gone, too. He was like, the sticker's, like, stupid. Like, he's a world champion. He doesn't want that sticker. It's not about the team. It's about him. He's the hero. But, yeah, they went and they did pre-planned donuts. MJ sent me the FIA official, like, little document about, like, what the after race plans were, and they had like a little place for Lewis to pull up. He like did the cute little, like, he like sat in the car for a while and he like caressed the car and everything, but that was after he did pre-planned donuts, which on the document they went ahead and told you where you could do the donuts. It said potential donut spot or something like that, like as if like there was still like maybe they'll do them,
and if you wanted to do donuts you could do it right here. This is a nice little spot for donuts if you wanted to. The option's out there,
yeah, just in case. What is your favorite I have a favorite like little donut celebration in all of motorsport, and it's the one where Fernando was retiring and they had all of his past teams like do donuts.
Oh, that's cute. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, it's cute. He didn't end up actually retiring. The bitch is back. So that was kind of awkward probably when they were like, yeah, no, we did like a whole goodbye for you and now you're here again, whatever. But yeah, F1's kind of lame with the donuts. Like everybody else just be. Why is it like, I get it, they want to like be good on the cars or whatever, but it's like, can we start getting donuts after like just sick wins in F1? Like, why does it always have to be like you can't do it until Abu Dhabi? Like, I want donuts. Like, if you get a sick like Max in Brazil, fuck it, sent it. He should have done like 18 million donuts all across the track. Because like, if you do a really sick win, like, I want to see a celebration. I'm tired of like the out of the car. Like, it's not hype enough. I want a donut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but yeah, the cars just can't take it. But I'm also like, pinnacle of motorsport and your cars can't take a fucking donut? Sure.
Okay, it sounds like your car kind of sucks because...
Where's the pinnacle? Where's the pinnacle?
Right, because like, it's just a little donut. Like, it can't do a little donut.
They can't do one donut. They can't do one donut.
Be serious.
That's just bullshit. That's bullshit.
So yeah, I think that's basically it for the race. Also, Max is having a baby. I don't know if that's important to anything. Max is having a baby.
He's having a baby, and they're gonna name it Chase after NASCAR's most popular driver. They don't know it yet, but
yeah. I realized so I made like a video asking about people's predictions, and a lot of people were talking about like Daniel, and like I think they were like meaning it like Daniel, how cute, because like his favorite teammate and his previous lover, but I also like other people were like, he can't name him Daniel because like that's the name of Penelope's dad. But then I also was like, yeah, and like what would Daniel Suarez think, like if there was another Daniel in the family?
There's gonna be multiple Daniels in the family.
And then I started to realize like, this motherfucker has a lot of Daniels in his life. Max be having a lot of Daniels in his life. That's all I have to say about that. I think we're like, just guys, can we stop pissing Max off? He's literally gonna leave. Okay, like, he's literally gonna leave. Just everybody, just give Max whatever he wants from now on, or else he's gonna leave. And I really like Max, and I don't want that to happen. So just stop fighting with him.
We could write that into our 2026 fan fiction. Max leaves because he has a child. Oh wait, no, because the baby will be here before 2026.
How long do you think people are pregnant for, MJ?
Well, it could be twins, and then that's what? 18 months?
Yeah, they double it, of course.
Double it, go to the next one. So I have to...
Anyways.
Let me get back on my bullshit for a second. He leaves in 2020. Wait, what year is Chloe winning? 2026? She's winning the Indy 500?
She's 2027.
Oh, no, that's Charles is winning the Indy 500.
Yeah.
No,
Charles
do this.
is winning next year. Charles is winning next year. He's doing the triple next year.
Yes.
Keep up.
2026 is open, though. So that could be the year that Max leaves, and he goes into, like, IMSA, or he does, like, endurance racing, he does, like, IndyCar. You know, that's his year of fucking around and finding out. And then he gets his face on the Borg-Warner Trophy. I do wonder if... Because a lot of people were talking about, like, apparently Max said in an interview that he would retire once he had a kid or something.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
he said, like...
an offhanded interview.
He said, like, he wants... And this was this year, which makes me think, like, he was, like, thinking about it, I think. And he was like,
about it.
I want to see my kids, like, grow up, blah, blah, blah. I don't think, like, when they're, like, a baby, he cares. But I think, like, if his kid starts to get to be, like, a toddler age, he's going to want to retire, he said. Because he, like, wants to... He's, like, talking about, like, oh, when I'm with, like, my sister and her kids, like, they, like, drive around, like, their little remote control cars. And, like, they're just so much fun to hang out with. Like, I want to hang out with my kids when they're that age. Mm-hmm. And, like... So I think we got maybe 2-3 years... Especially if things start going poorly for him. Like, why wouldn't he leave?
Yeah, and I mean,
he's already said
F1
he doesn't give a fuck about how many championships he has. He's like, I just needed the one.
He's so real for that. And F1 would be, like, literally the worst as a parent because you've got, 24 races? They'll probably try to change it to 52 soon, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, they're gonna be like every weekend. You
Every
bitches are
weekend.
on that plane.
But I'm sure he won't quit racing. Like, he might do something like less.
Yeah,
Maybe he'll go to
just not
Formula
F1.
E. Because there's like, what,
Fuck
6
it.
races in Formula E? 8, 10, 12?
Yeah, he'll just be like, fuck it. I still want to drive a little car. I just don't want to do it every weekend.
Max in NASCAR? Question mark. Be with the family?
All right, MJ. I think it's time to log off. Our fanfic
No.
has gone too far, I think.
Nope. I'm writing that in. It's a bonus chapter.
So I don't think we're gonna do like the sentimental year recap sort of things because I am on vacation. I gotta go. But next week we'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys have any thoughts, any memories from the year that you want us to talk about, be sure to comment them on our YouTube channel. We're also on TikTok. We're on Instagram at Lapsdown. If you guys could remember to give us a 5-star review if you listen on Apple or Spotify, that'd be super helpful. And I think that is about it. Did you have anything to add, MJ, besides fanfic writing?
Formula E just started. So I'm swiftly moving
yeah.
on to that. It was a really
Yeah,
good race
okay.
this weekend. But we
I didn't
won't
get to
talk
watch it
about
this
it.
weekend.
But it was good. You should watch it. It's on the Roku channel
on
if you have a Roku. But you can also
Go to Roku
like,
City. Go to Roku City, guys. It's there.
that's where they raced this weekend, was in Roku City. It was a good race.
Wasn't there like a little 20-year-old kid that got a podium?
Yeah, the McLaren driver. Fuck, what's his name? Nope.
Yeah,
not
he's
good.
just one of those McLaren.
Bernard. I think that's his last name.
Okay.
He got a podium. The winner went from last to first. That's always crazy. They had an insane wreck that was another testament to why the halo is so important. I highly recommend watching. We may get into it. We may dip into Formula E in the future. Maybe.
Yeah, I didn't watch this weekend, but maybe I'll try to watch the next race.
It's not for like a month, so you've got time.
I got so much time to think about it. I'm thinking about watching FE Formula E. I'm thinking about it really hard. So yeah, we'll maybe dip our toe a little bit in Formula E. Sounds fun. And I think that's it. Bye. Say bye, MJ.
Bye.